Uh, Jeez. I mean, I I just woke up. I wasn't planning on going live. I mean, this is huge news right here. I don't know what to say. I'm still trying to process this. Tweet this out because this is I tweet the link out to the link. All right. Sorry about that. All right. I don't I don't know what to think about this. I mean, this is so I wake up this morning, January 18th will be a day either remembered in a good way or a bad way. Um, Depending who you talk to, it may be good or it may be bad. Um, I just, I don't, I don't, I don't know what to say here, guys. with the, Given with the brap guys right now as we speak. I mean, we're all in shock here. All right, so big news this morning. Woke up this morning. It was Tuesday. I was off yesterday, and yesterday was the MLK holiday, and I Jason Schreier tweets out. Looks like Microsoft's buying, according to Wall Street Journal, Microsoft's buying Activision for Activision Blizzard $70 billion. Let that sink in for a second. 70 billion with a B. I am I don't know what to say. I'm just okay. So I had heard rumblings that there was going to be something some big announcement or not big announcement. There was going to be the Microsoft was still kicking the tires, looking at Activision, Take Two, and I was kind of dismissive of those. And I think we all heard those rumors. And then I heard that Microsoft was eyeing another big purchase and it was probably going to happen Q1 of this year. And I was like, okay, whatever. I just didn't really pay any mind to it. But this is it. This is the big purchase. And I'm kind of not surprised given some of the the controversy surrounding Activision Blizzard with the sexual harassment things and the culture and the petitions to remove Bobby Kotick and look, Bobby's cashing out right now. Bobby's like, you know what, I'm done. Bobby's getting paid right now. So I think this is much different than Bethesda because Activision was making money. And not that Bethesda wasn't, but there were some studios there that were, let's be frank, if Microsoft hadn't come in and purchased Bethesda, there's some studios that may have not continued their existence. And again, this is this is just huge. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this. I don't even know why. Like, well, I guess I know why Microsoft's doing this. I mean, obviously they want to. This is a Game Pass purchase, in my opinion. They want to solidify Game Pass as um um they want to solidify Game Pass as um this the premier subscription service in the industry. Fexer says, let's be honest, you heard nothing. Oh, actually I did. But what's up, Strictly? They want to they want to. I mean, look, this is a power move. They want to solidify Game Pass. And guys, let's like Nine Lives. Let's not do this. Let's not do the Xbox One. And this is the downside of acquisitions like this. Like, instead of talking about the business implications and what this means for the industry and in gaming and Microsoft, and unfortunately, it's almost predictable. People are going to be like, Microsoft won, Sony's dead. I don't think Sony's dead. Frankly, to me, it doesn't matter who wins or who loses. What matters to me, no, Fexter, I didn't. Okay, Fexter, you need to perhaps listening comprehension isn't your forte, but no, I heard that there's more purchases. Activision's been one of those rumored purchases, by the way. That's been well discussed on the Twitters and other podcasts. We've discussed this on BRAP too. So yeah, so you don't know what you're talking about. But let's not do this stuff like the we won, and it, I mean, it's unfortunately going to be this thing where it's it becomes this console war thing, and it shouldn't, but it's going to, unfortunately, because the man babies don't know how to behave. Unfortunately, grown men arguing over plastic products like this. But anyhow, I digress. So I'm still trying to process this. This is a power move. We've said this a million times on BRAP. The one way Microsoft's really going to get more market penetration with Game Pass is if they get those games. Hey, Ice Queen Gaming. If they get those games, yes, Strictly, this is wild as fuck, man. if they get the NBA 2Ks, if they get the Call of Duties into Game Pass day and date, then that is a power move. That would potentially get more people interested. Not get more people. It's going to get more people interested in Game Pass now, because now you have this big Activision, or you have this big Call of Duty player base. You have Overwatch. You have this big player base now, and guess what? Now you can get those games. Now you can get those games on Game Pass day and date as part of its subscription model at $15 a month, as opposed to paying $60 or $70 a month. That's huge. And I wonder how it's going to impact the other platforms. Is there going to be a mass exodus from PlayStation to Xbox now? Maybe, maybe not. I think there's something to be said for people who are tied into ecosystems, who are, have played COD primarily on their PlayStation. Their friends are there. Do their friends leave? Maybe if their friends leave, they leave. But do they want to leave that ecosystem? I mean, so there's those dynamics that are involved in this. I don't think it's as black and white as some people might think. I think it's a little more multi-layered. But regardless, Microsoft now, there's no argument. I've always said that Game Pass presents a tremendous value proposition to the consumer. There's no argument right now that Microsoft, with Game Pass, with this move, is the must-have subscription service in gaming. And you could have made that argument that it was before, but now it absolutely is. It absolutely is right now. I don't think there's any denying this. Think about these games, Overwatch. And think about what that means for the PC space too now. Microsoft trying to go, trying to get its feet firmly even more entrenched into the PC space. Not like they aren't already with Windows and their other products, but now it's like, look at this. I mean, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Diablo. I mean, think about this. Microsoft Microsoft. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, I haven't seen a Microsoft this aggressive since the early days of the internet, since the .com days, when they basically muscled everyone out with Internet Explorer. And I think they bought Netscape at the time, and that caused a bunch of antitrust suits, which I often wonder too if these kind of moves might raise the eyebrows of the DOJ, and they might start looking at this they might start looking at these maneuvers as potentially antitrust moves. But let's go into this. This is from Microsoft themselves. Their press release. Xbox plus Activision plus Blizzard. And by the way, Activision Blizzard has a mobile game too that's supposed to be King Studios. Candy Crush is huge on mobile, so this has ramifications for mobile too for Microsoft. Talk about Phil Spencer wanting to reach these 3 billion gamers. I don't think Phil was kidding now. This is one way to do it. Candy Crush is huge. All right, so here we go. With 3 billion people actively playing games today and fueled by a new generation steeped in the joys of interactive entertainment, gaming is now the largest and fastest growing form of entertainment. Gaming is huge, yes. Today, Microsoft Corp announced plans to acquire Activision Blizzard, a leader in game development, interactive entertainment content publisher. This acquisition will accelerate the growth of Microsoft's gaming business across mobile, PC, console, and cloud, and provide building blocks for the metaverse. So there's that. I mean, this is, and by the way, welcome back, Mikey Barra, to Xbox. When the transaction closes, Microsoft become the world's third largest gaming company by revenue, behind Tencent and Sony. The planned acquisition, to think about that from a perspective, Tencent and Sony are the biggest two. And even with this acquisition, puts Microsoft to number 3. The planned acquisition includes iconic franchises from the Activision, Blizzard, and King Studios like Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Call of Duty, and Candy Crush, in addition to global esports activities through Major League Gaming. The company has studios around the world with nearly 10,000 employees. So look at that from the esports perspective, major branding opportunities for Microsoft and Game Pass. Gaming is the most dynamic, exciting category in entertainment across all platforms today, and will play a key role in the development of metaverse platforms, said Satya Nadella. So Microsoft is keenly aware of what's going on with the meta. Microsoft will get involved in NFTs. I'm almost guaranteeing it. I know you all think I'm crazy, but I don't think NFTs are going anywhere because they tie in well to the metaverse, but that's a whole nother conversation. Chairman and CEO of Microsoft, said Satya Nadella, Chairman and CEO of Microsoft, we're investing deeply in world-class content community at the cloud to usher in a new era of gaming that puts players and creators first and makes gaming safe, inclusive, and accessible to all. So there you have it. I mean, just look at this picture. Xbox plus Activision. I mean, who would have thought? And I wonder, I got to ask the question. I wonder what the executives of Sony are thinking. I mean, if I'm an executive of Sony, I'm like, what just happened? This can't be cool. This is not good. Now, Sony I think Sony's going to be fine. I know people are going to be like, Sony's dead. I don't think that. I think Sony's created intellectual properties that have a lot of value. PlayStation as a brand is very popular across the world. I think as Sony continues creating content, I mean, look at Nintendo. Nintendo, people have been predicting the death of Nintendo for years because they didn't have a robust online component to their platforms. They were falling behind Microsoft and Sony. They weren't innovating, and Nintendo is really dominating with the Nintendo Switch right now. So I'm not necessarily buying that that Sony's in trouble here, and I know people are going to try to spin it like that, but I don't see that. I think there's just too much value amongst consumers, perceived value with the PlayStation brand for that to just go away. But let me get this. I'm going to grab a super chat here real quick from Strictly Gaming. Strictly, thank you for the $20 super chat, man. I really appreciate it. It says that would definitely get more people interested. Wondering how this affects the development of COD. PlayStation always has the most. PlayStation always had the most of the COD player base. So do they go to Game Pass? Will it be exclusive to Xbox? A lot of questions. Those are great questions. Strictly, again, I said earlier, like, who knows? I mean, will some people, switch platforms? Probably. You have to imagine some people may do that. Some people may stay because of they're heavily invested in the PlayStation ecosystem. They may say, hey, you know what? I'm fine. I'm not gonna switch to COD. But there could be certainly some people who say, hey, wait a minute, that $15 a month now, and now I can get all these games. Yeah, maybe I'm going to make the jump now. And so it's going to be interesting to see how many people actually make that jump. I'm not going to go out on the limb and say, 100% of the people that are on PlayStation are going to make the jump on Game Pass because it's on Game Pass now. But I don't think. Hold on here a sec, guys. Give me just a sec. All right, sorry about that. I had to take a call real quick. So that's a great question. Strictly, like what's going to happen? Will it be exclusive to Xbox? I mean, I think given Microsoft's acquisition of Mojang, you would probably imagine that COD is not going to be is not going to be exclusive to the Xbox platform. Although I could see some incentives for playing on Xbox. Maybe there's some DLC type incentives that maybe are exclusive to the platform. Maybe that happens, but I don't. There's a lot of questions. Absolutely. I mean, we don't know how this thing's going to play out. But again, I think just given past history, I don't see Microsoft taking away this particular franchise from PlayStation. And if they did, that would be a huge middle finger to be a huge middle finger to PlayStation. But it'd be and I got to imagine Sony's probably on the phone with Microsoft saying, "Hey, are you guys going to take this away from us?" But it would be it would be kind of a slap to the face, I think, of people that have invested on the PlayStation platform that are playing that game on Call of Duty, and I think that would probably create a lot of negativity from the core gaming community if Microsoft did that, and then perhaps you start having conversations around, Microsoft is back to Microsoft being the old Microsoft, and anti-consumer conversations will come up behind if they did that. I think, and I think that you're already seeing it. Some people are saying, are there going to be antitrust suits now with Microsoft acquiring Blizzard because they've started acquiring they made another larger acquisition late last summer with Bethesda. So are these things are they pro-consumer? Forte saying Forte saying they're going to take the game away from PlayStation. I don't know, man. I don't think they're going to. I think there's a precedent there. I could be wrong, but I don't think they're going to. Because I think that speaks to that would raise. I think the one thing Microsoft doesn't want to do with these big acquisitions is raise any red flags, any antitrust flags, where somebody can point and say, "Wait a minute, they're trying to monopolize the industry." And you start doing stuff like that with these big acquisitions, perhaps someone could make the argument that they are. I'd have to get my man. We got to get Hogue Law in here, by the way. Big shout out to Hogue Law. If you're not subscribing to his channel, you need to. Hogue Law on YouTube. But I think that would be there would be a lot of negativity directed at Microsoft. I don't think they want that, Forte. I don't think they want to be the anti-consumer or the monopolistic, company in the eyes of the gaming community. I don't think they want that. But I think because of how big this acquisition is and how big Call of Duty is in Overwatch, I don't see those games being exclusive. And there's a precedent for that already. I mean, you look how big Minecraft is when Microsoft acquired them, and Microsoft has kept all those games on the platforms. And I think financially speaking, obviously, it would benefit Microsoft to to do this. Now, I think this is kind of, I was thinking about this too. Like, how else? Like, what else does this move potentially mean long term? Like, I've always thought, and I think my man Slow-Mo Backslap has kind of alluded to this too on Prap, that apparently Bobby Kotick is going to remain as Activision CEO after Microsoft acquisition. So, yeah, that's interesting. I'm surprised Microsoft would leave Bobby Kotick on, considering the issues that have plagued the culture issues that have plagued Activision Blizzard. Interesting. Maybe he's on here for the time being, but yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I just lost my train of thought because I haven't had coffee yet. Oh, so yeah, I mean, I think it's going to benefit. I think it benefits Microsoft financially if they keep those games on PlayStation as well. I think for what Phil's saying, he wants gamers to have options, and I think if they take a game like a game like Call of Duty off of PlayStation, I think then Phil, you are not giving people options. You're only giving them options to go to your platform, and that's not really an option per se if they only have one option. So I don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening, and I think Microsoft stands to benefit from a revenue perspective. I got my man Forte here. What's up, Forte?
Yo, I was driving my daughter to school,
and you heard the news, and you're like, "Yo, what's going on?"
Slow-Mo calls me, and
Slow-Mo calls you.
I was like, "Yo," he was like, "Yo, did you hear?" I was like, "Hear what?" He was like, "You don't know." I was like, "No, what?" He's like, "Oh, you really don't know?" And he dropped $70 billion in my lap, and I was like, "What?" Okay, so listen, bro, I gotta go to work too, so it's messed up because this is the one I'm normally off on a Tuesday, and I would have booted up a stream and been talking about this just like you, but I got a regional visit today, so I had to work today, unfortunately. So, yo, this is crazy. I remember when we were talking about this on Brap and just in many different places where especially when it was around WB. And people were throwing out numbers like 12 and 15 billion dollars, and like, it's not worth that. Is Microsoft really going to spend that type of money? We never thought they would spend 7.5 billion. Nobody thought they would probably spend $20 billion on the entity, but they just dropped 70 for a company that just got reevaluated for 50. So what that's telling me, okay, so first of all, Phil Spencer went out there and he's been very, very vocal on Twitter and on social medias and interviews about Activision having to do something about their problem. What he basically did is, okay, I'm going to fix the problem for you. I'm going to buy you, and I'm going to.
Bobby Kotick staying there though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But who do they have to talk to now? Who is the overseer now?
Kotick.
No, he's the overseer over at. But who does he ultimately have to talk to?
Oh, he reports to Satya, probably. Yeah, Phil Spencer directly. Yeah.
So if he does fall out of line in any certain way, if he finds a way to stay there, which it looks like he did because he actually put out the memo to all of the employees about what was going on. If he finds a way, he still stays there. Boy, that leash is going to be super tight because we already know what Phil Spencer already thinks of the situation and what he's going to do. But the other thing is, this helps Microsoft in so many. It's not even really the games. Yes, it definitely helps them in games. It also helps them in their one glaring weakness they have, which is on PC. They don't have a backbone of infrastructure when it comes to like being able to get their games put on a competent platform. Right now, the Windows Store is basically the only thing they have, but now they have Battle.net. They can actually do everything through Battle.net, which is a competent launcher that people trust in. And call it. I mean, I'm with
Forte,
you. I'm with you.
Forte, real quick.
Go ahead.
Forte, real quick. That's a great point. I mentioned this might help them in their inroads in PC, but I completely forgot about Battle.net. That is a great point, Forte, because no one wants to go to Microsoft Store.
They don't. They'll go to Battle.net though, because if you want to play Call of Duty on PC, that's where you got to go. It's not available anywhere else. No Steam, no nothing. Only on Battle.net. So this is a monumental move that I hate to say you probably will never see again. This by far the biggest.
You know what, Forte? I don't believe that, man. I
mean, well, at this point, anything can happen.
Forte. You know what Microsoft just basically put out there?
What?
They basically told the industry, you thought, like, think about this for a second.
They said, yo, I thought 7.5 billion was a lot. We just
hey, you know what, guys? We dropped 7 billion. You know what?
70 billion.
We just got Activision for 70 billion. So here's what they're saying. So the Take-Twos, you know, the Ubisofts of the world. Hey, you want to come talk? You want to come hang out with the big guy?
The big guy.
we are willing to spend money. Think about that. You know, and you got to imagine that some of those guys at Take-Two, they're like, maybe we should have a conversation with Microsoft, see how much they'll give us, because clearly they're not adverse to spending billions of dollars.
Yeah, like 70. Dog, Sony would have to go out and take they had to go take out a loan to spend $70 billion on something like this. That's just ridiculous. Now, I do think this does. Oh man, at what point do we say Sony?
By the way, 70 billion would be almost half of Sony's market cap.
That's half of their market cap, literally half of it. So. And Microsoft is I think they're second in market cap, right behind Apple. Apple is the first $3 trillion market cap. Microsoft's like 2.7 or 2.8 trillion. So this is like less than 3% of Microsoft. That's $70 billion. And this just goes, everybody was waiting for that next shoe to drop. No one thought it would ever be Activision. It was so many other studios. People were willing to think that Grand Theft Auto and Take-Two were going to be the next thing. It's just like, yo, this is something that I never thought I would see something like this twice in one generation, technically, because Activision pretty much got finalized last year. So you're talking about within 2 years, Microsoft has spent north of $70 billion and grew their portfolio tenfold, just like that. And then we also got to remember one of the biggest issues that I feel like Microsoft had was they needed help. They needed support studios. Now, I love Destiny, and Destiny had a lot of support when they worked with Activision, because they had High Moon Studios and I forget the other name, but Raven Studios and stuff. They were all helping with DLC and stuff for Destiny. Right now, those studios really focus on Call of Duty and stuff right now, but now they have a bunch of support studios. And guess what those studios can do, Brad? Those studios can also help Microsoft in these other games. They can help with these first party Xbox studio games or Microsoft studio games. And they can also help probably do some bug fixes and stuff when it comes to some of the Bethesda games, because these studios are used to just basically lending hands to help finish products and get them across the board. That's the reason the Call of Duty can release every year like it does. This one withstanding, because I think this is the one that COVID really, really racked them. And it was just a bad one from beginning to end. So let's just hope that they get that back in order. But this is a huge move that at a certain point, Brad, when do we say, what does Sony have to do? Because I didn't think they had to do anything when it came to Bethesda, because it's Bethesda. They are losing a lot of IP when it comes to the third party. But those games were predominantly PC games for the most part, like Skyrim and Fallout. People, they did play them on consoles a lot, but most of it was mostly PC driven. You're talking about Call of Duty, the number one franchise outside of Grand Theft Auto. What in the one franchise you could always count on to sell a console for you if it wasn't for your first party. What do they do after this?
That's what I'm saying. I think this is a strong message to the rest of the big players out there. Hey, everyone's good. They are, you know what they are in the wrestling world? Microsoft is the $1 million man now.
Oh, they're the $1 million man. They're Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, everyone's got a price. You know,
everybody does have a price. We said that everybody does.
Everyone does have a price. I mean, it's not, and so we know Microsoft's been kicking the tires. And look, man, I will say this: this doesn't happen without Satya, right?
No, he's been
so
100%
Satya.
behind
So
it.
Satya is really on board, which leads me, I guess, to another question because I think Slow-Mo's talked about this before. Remember how Slow-Mo got a lot of flack for saying Xbox isn't the platform anymore for Microsoft? It's Game Pass.
Yeah.
Do you think, Forte? Because you hear Satya saying cloud streaming, right? You know, I think at some point Microsoft wants to leave the hardware space.
Oh, they I told you the moment they get the chance to do it, they will.
So
they'll do it. They don't want to make hardware. They don't. What people keep complaining about Microsoft and the whole promise of VR and them making VR. The reason they don't make VR right now is because they don't want to be the proprietary of the hardware. They'll partner with somebody and support the hardware, but they don't want to make the hardware. That's the R&D in that is just ridiculous in itself. They look at something like Apple that has no gaming front at all as one of the number one revenue generators when it comes to video game revenue or just in apps and stuff, because they know how to market that stuff and they have everybody under that umbrella when it comes to like mobile games and things like that. Microsoft wants that type of notoriety and stuff. And the moment they don't have to make hardware and they see that we can not stream the game, but just give people the ability through a little box or something, or stream the game and people don't have a problem with the issues, or the internet connectivity gets better in the world, they'll bow out of the hardware sooner or later. But I don't think that's anytime soon. You'll still get hardware. They're already working on the next Xbox. Phil Spencer already talked about hardware will always be their focus until it's not their focus. And that's the thing that people got to realize.
Well, I think the long game here too, to your point, is that, if they leave hardware at some point, maybe that's 20 years down the road from now, right?
Right.
But now they've positioned themselves, they've accumulated so many assets now that they can kind of stand alone, kind of like Netflix has or Disney Plus, right?
Like Disney Plus, yeah.
I would say more like Disney. I would say more like Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
And kind of stand alone as a platform where it's on multiple devices now. And I think that's the long game. But I tell you, Forte, like we discussed this on Brap, like they were kicking the tires. We had heard rumors of them trying to go after Activision. There was going to be some kind of announcement of another acquisition, some studio earlier this year. And I didn't think it was going to be early this year, like early in January of this year.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean, dude, and you talk about Sony, like you asked a question, like, what does Sony have to do now? I don't know, man. People are going to ask a question. Is Sony in trouble now?
I mean, this is the funny thing, because it's so cloak and dagger right now. Microsoft did such a good job with the acquisition of Bethesda that they left a lot of uncertainty out there. Now, some people didn't like it because they wanted to know what the situation was, but that kept the buzz around the Bethesda Xbox acquisition for a good year before they officially came out in March of last year and had a roundtable and told everybody that, these legacy titles are these games in this game, in this game, in this game, they're exclusive to Xbox or not even Xbox, wherever Game Pass lives. That was when they finally came out and actually said it. What is that conversation going to be with this? They already said in the blog post with Bobby Kotick, where he talked about they were going to be bringing as many games as they possibly can over to Game Pass on Xbox and Game Pass on PC. I truly believe, and even if they don't, like, let's say they do for some reason keep Call of Duty. I don't think they will, because if you spend $70 billion on something, you don't really care about the money as much. It's more about the property, the IP. And why would you care about anybody else when it comes to that? If they really want to play the game, they'll come to your platform. Remember, before last generation, Call of Duty lived on Xbox. It was the
360, absolutely.
It lived on Xbox. It was the number one selling game across all of Xbox. It sold more copies on Xbox, and not until they lost the marketing rights and it went to PlayStation, that's when Call of Duty flipped. So I know a lot of people out there gonna be saying, well, they don't want to lose that big pie of PlayStation. Well, that big pie, you got to think the pie of PlayStation is, it's not that those Call of Duty gamers are 100% just attached to their PlayStation. I had a lady, like I put a tweet out, I had a lady that literally played nothing but PlayStation, traded in her Call of Duty system just so she could play with her friends on Xbox. And I was like, well, why you? She said, I've never had an Xbox before, but my friends are over there. So, and you got to think, and she said, I never had a 360.
Well,
I never had a PS3. Her first system was a PS4, and she was willing to dump that thing to come go over to Xbox because that's where her friends are. And that's the power of a game like Call of Duty. Now, it just really comes down to the conversation of, if they do keep it on PlayStation, the difference is going to be Game Pass at that point. Do you want to pay? Do you want to just have your subscription model where you have access to every Microsoft game over the course of a year? Or do you want to pay 60, 70, but it's a $70 game on PlayStation 5 right now? Or do you want to pay $70 one hit for Call of Duty? That's the option. But it just looks more and more enticing. And I also want to say shout out to Rod Ferguson and Mikey Barra. They couldn't escape Microsoft. They're back in the fold now.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny, they are back in the fold now. You know, it's interesting. You mentioned the person that traded in the console, and I was talking about that earlier. I think it just depends. Like if people's friends go, and they have a group of people they game with, the people probably will jump ship, right? If their friends are leaving, for the example you just gave.
Friends are more important than a lot of games.
Some people may say, you know what, I'm going to stay put on PlayStation because I'm involved in the ecosystem. My friends are still here. But I got to be honest with you, this is more of a blow to Sony if Microsoft decides to take COD as an exclusive.
Oh,
if they do that, that is not good for Sony. It's just not. I don't think it means that Sony's dead, because I think that Sony has created
Sony's not dead at all.
A popular brand per se. But I guess the only hesitation I have about saying that, I think Microsoft's going to put Activision on, or COD, Overwatch, Diablo, and maybe some of those games. Maybe Diablo does go exclusive to Xbox, you know. But the reason why I don't think that they'll pull COD from PlayStation is because I think then that creates negative perception towards Microsoft as being a monopoly or trying to monopolize the gaming industry, and I don't think Microsoft wants that narrative out there.
Right.
I think that maybe potentially that would hurt other future acquisitions. Maybe not. We got Slomo backslapping here. Let's get Slomo in here. What's up, Slomo? Are you there, Slomo? Slomo's actually he's in talks right now with Sachi. He's about to get bought too.
Yeah.
Slomo's about to get bought.
Look at that.
But
look at that DPS logo. Let's go.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. And that's why I think they'll keep it there. And plus, from a financial perspective, I think Microsoft would benefit from keeping it on PlayStation. But again, if you really want to push Game Pass, the way we've talked about this on Brap, having those games exclusive may be the way to do it. So this thing's going to get interesting, man. Like I hope that they don't make it exclusive for Game Pass, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to miss out. We lost Slum.
Well, if Xbox, we'll put it this way: Xbox has the power to basically not say crush Sony, but they have the chance to just say middle finger.
Yeah.
Middle finger. If you want Call of these games on your, because I think Call of Duty would be the one. Either it would have been Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto, one of those two games. Those would have been the games to make Sony really sit back and think, like, Microsoft says we can have these games on our platform, but Game Pass has to live on our platform. Because now, remember, we were talking about how Game Pass would have to be restructured to be on a PlayStation platform, because Game Pass offers a lot of third-party games and stuff. And we always talked about, well, Game Pass on PlayStation could just be Microsoft games. now you're at a point where Microsoft has so many games, so many publishers underneath them, so many studios that over the course of a year, you can get 4 or 5, maybe 6 games a year from Microsoft. And Game Pass actually would be something that you might want to have on your platform, especially if you want to keep something like Call of Duty. Now, the one thing I truly, really hope that comes from this is that Call of Duty doesn't have to be stuck to a yearly schedule anymore. I know how people really want to play Call of Duty all the time, but I also think that it's some innovation that needs to happen inside of that franchise to get people excited all over again. And if Microsoft can break their tradition of releasing a Halo game every 3 years, they can definitely do something with Call of Duty, whereas it might take a year off, because we saw the biggest differences in games like Assassin's Creed after they took a full year off to actually rebuild that game from the ground up to actually make it a better overall experience. That's when you get stuff like Origins and you get stuff like Odyssey. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where Call of Duty definitely needs to go. So maybe being under the umbrella of Microsoft and all of that type of stuff, they have the ability to not have to push out a Call of Duty every year because they're not living off of the revenue from the previous year's Call of Duty all the time. Now they're living off the revenue that Microsoft is bringing to them, which is pretty much an unlimited piggy bank.
Mm-hmm. So you don't think they're gonna? Yeah, you don't think they're gonna. So you think they're not gonna do yearly releases then?
I think the Call of Duty, I think whatever they have in the pipeline right now is still set. I still think we're going to get a Call of Duty at the end of this year. I do think that Call of Duty will go into Game Pass day and date. I don't know about next year. Maybe they'll still have one coming out, but I think after 2023, you'll see Call of Duty go on a bi-yearly basis. I mean, at least that's what I hope happens with it because that kind of needs to happen. They don't need to have that game released every year. Maybe they'll do and then think about it, Warzone. Jesus. We talked about how Microsoft needed how Halo.
By the way, that's
the battle royale.
Real quick, Forte.
That's something different.
Real quick, that's another reason why I don't think they'll pull COD as an exclusive because of Warzone. Warzone's so big.
Well, could they just leave Warzone and just take COD?
Maybe they just I mean, they could just leave Warzone. So Warzone's going to be the multi-plat, and then if you want the traditional COD multiplayer,
exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah. Again, I could be wrong here, but I'm of the opinion that they keep it multi-plat because I think financially speaking, they have a lot to gain from that, and I think the negativity and backlash they would get for making it exclusive would probably do more.
I think Warzone would be treated more like. I think Warzone could, if you had to put a gun on my head, Warzone will be treated like Minecraft at this point.
Yeah, let me ask you
built like that.
Yeah, let me ask you something, Forte. Are you concerned? And I was talking to OBM about this before I went live. I was trying to get him on, but he couldn't come on. And he's not getting the warm and fuzzies by this. He's kind of like, it's not really what I wanted because I think again, I don't want to speak for him, but I got the sense that he's concerned about them buying everything. And now you create this monopoly, right? And maybe that's not in the best interest of gamers. I don't think monopolies are in the best interest of consumers, period.
Right.
But I mean, is that a cause for concern, Forte? Do you think that, wait a minute, like, why exciting it is, wow, as this announcement is today, if they start doing more of these and they get the if they get the Activision, they already got Activision, if they get the Take-Two's, if they get the Ubisofts, like, do we want that? Do gamers want that? Like one company controlling everything?
I think the people like me and you and OBM don't want that because we know what the ramifications of that is, but the greater majority don't care. Like they don't even know what that is. They'll look at it as like, oh, cool, this game is on this platform and on this system, and that's where I can play it at. I think if you think rudimentary about it, that's where people kind of think about when it comes to like these exclusives. But the industry is bigger than people think. You still have huge publishers like EA out there. You have Ubisoft. You still have Take-Two. You still have massive parent companies out there that are still making games and stuff like that. Epic is still one of those publishers that are out there and stuff. So there's a big pie. Microsoft just took probably one of the nichest ones when it comes to like Bethesda because of the RPGs and stuff. Even though they do have amazing games that sell millions and millions and millions of copies, they're not the juggernaut like Take-Two and like the juggernaut like Activision is. I think this is the one where people sit there and say, yo, how many more of these type of deals can they make? Would Ubisoft be considered one of these type of deals? I don't think so, because Ubisoft, I don't think garners as much money or investment as something like Activision. Now, if you said they turn around in a year or two and purchase Take-Two, then you're talking about something. Then you're in that realm of not only are they buying like huge publishers, they also pretty much own the biggest IPs in video games at this point. Like, they're like revenue wise, they would probably jump to the front instantly in revenue generating when it comes to like video games or just in entertainment media in general, because we already know video games themselves outdo traditional media like movies and stuff and TV shows and stuff like that annually every year now. So that's where I think you would really start questioning it. But I think there's still such a large pie out there for other people to like, form up and do other things. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony started making moves to try to go after Take-Two and stuff like that right now, because can they really afford to lose Grand Theft Auto? Because now you're in a situation where it's like flight or fee. You got to think they could do this. So we might want to start barreling up to say, hey, what would it take to bring you in the fold? We have a really good relationship with you. You're releasing stuff day one on our console when it comes to like updates and stuff like that. What do we need to do to get you on board? And those are the conversations I think are going to start happening, not Microsoft buying everybody, but only time will tell.
Yeah. That's very well said, Forte. Time will tell how this thing pans out. And I did do hold on a sec here. I did a survey of will Microsoft make COD exclusive to Xbox. 55% of the respondents said yes. 45% said no. So it looks like many people think that that's going to be the case. And by the way, we have over 200 people watching. Please hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Mm-hmm. If you're new to the show, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. Also check out DPS Podcast on YouTube, by the way. My man Forte and Slimo. Give those dudes some support. So
it's gonna be lit this Thursday.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's gonna
rap gonna be lit tomorrow. It's gonna be crazy. This whole week gonna be crazy because it's gonna be not only the news today, you're going to get clarifications and statements and stuff from all of the developers and all the publishers involved about how this is good for the industry, how this is bad for the industry. Oh, there's not going to be a lack of content this week.
No, there's definitely not going to be a lack of content this weekend. We got Slomo here. Slomo actually brought up a great point in the BRAP DM. What's up, Slomo? Thanks for joining us, man. You asked a question: should Sony buy Take-Two now or make a move?
I feel like Sony has to look at this and be like, all right, look, man, whatever we were thinking before, we're gonna have to reevaluate that, because like $70 billion, like you knew that they had the finances to make a move like that, but did they really have the will to do it? Like, you could even still say, even after they acquired ZeniMax for $7.5 billion, which was the biggest deal at that time.
Hey guys, I'll be right back. I take a call real quick.
Okay, no problem. There have been 2 deals with other, I think Tencent, maybe, I can't remember who it was, but there have been 2 deals since then that have been bigger than the ZeniMax acquisition. I think one was for 10, the other one was for 20. So like they really kind of sparked something when they acquired ZeniMax. And it continued, but then like knowing that they have the money for it and they have the will to do it, still like $70 billion, that's like such a massive jump from what the other acquisitions were going for, that I don't think anybody would have thought that they would have actually spent that much money on it. But now when you see that they're willing to spend $70 billion. And that's not even really hurting Microsoft at all. Now Sony has to kind of go, you know what? Let's just go ahead and buy Square Enix before something happens here. Like, let's just go ahead and talk to Take-Two and see what's up. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you have to ask Microsoft, so about that IP that sells the most on our platform every single year in and year out, are we going to still have access to that? Like,
Right.
nobody wants to be in that position where you don't have control. So I can see them making a move where they start to, because like this is now truly where the consolidation starts. And although there has been, I know like before I was having some issues with my my router, so I was like I couldn't like get on. It was like it wasn't uploading anything. So I did have to reboot my router. But I know you guys were talking about whether Call of Duty would be exclusive. It looks like in their press release they kind of already spoken about that. So they said that and I'll quote the section of it. It says Activision Blizzard games are enjoyed on a variety of platforms, and we plan to continue to support those communities moving forward. So I think that statement kind of alludes to what they're going to do with Activision overall. Like their games are going to continue to be on all platforms, just the way Minecraft is on all platforms. But what I would say you could probably expect to happen is that everything they release going forward will be in Game Pass day one. Those games will be launch games in Game Pass, period. So I think when remember years ago when we were on BRAP and we were like, man, they out here telling their investors they plan on launching one AAA game in Game Pass every quarter. Like, how was that possible? Are they serious? They're going to have like over 20 developers to do something like that. That's crazy. Here we are. Like, how many developers does Activision have? I have no idea. Like, I can't even, like, at this point now, is there any point in even counting how many developers they have at this point?
I mean, it's well over 30 now.
I mean,
well over 30.
Slow-mo, you know what's interesting too, man, is remember Phil Spencer talking about he wants to reach 3 billion gamers, right?
So he's doing
He
it now.
just did it with the purchase of King.
Yeah.
But
King
everyone talks about COD. People don't realize Activision owns Candy Crush.
Yeah, King,
which is huge on mobile. I mean, that's one way to do it. They hit that 3 billion. I had to step away, guys.
yeah, you're good.
Yeah, Slobo, did you? No, I don't know. You may have answered this or discussed this when I had to step away. But do you think they keep COD as an exclusive on Game Pass now, or do they keep it multi-plat?
Yeah. We were just talking about that.
Okay.
There is, so in the news article, if you're on, yes. Wait, no, I don't think you're on that one. If you go to news.xbox.com, there is a sentence there where they say Activision Blizzard games are enjoyed. Actually, I will share my screen so you can see it. What? Share. Give me a moment. Come on, computer. Work for me. There we go. There we go. I'm sharing my screen. Blow this up a little bit. Enrique, can
you gotta click.
Oh yeah. Give me just a second. I'll do that right now. Yep. Give me a sec here.
Slow-mo, I beat Halo last night, by the way.
Nice. I beat Final Fantasy VII Remake on PC last night too.
Nice.
Let's see. Where is that? Here we go. This part right here. It says Activision Blizzard games are enjoyed on a variety of platforms, and we plan to continue to support those communities moving forward. So now,
okay, I missed that.
I've seen some people. I missed it initially too, but I've seen some people push back on that. So the word support, some people are looking at that and saying that doesn't mean that new games coming out are going to go to PlayStation. That means that all content that has already come out and is currently planned on like being released will be supported. Like we're not going to abandon those games. Like
legacy stuff, basically.
Like Vanguard just came out. Vanguard's not going to get abandoned on PlayStation.
Right. Warzone,
like with no updates and stuff like that. Like they're going to, and this is similar to what they said with ZeniMax, where they said that like if you have Elder Scrolls Online on PlayStation, don't worry, it's not like that game. Like you're not going to get the next expansion that ZeniMax Online is working on. So there are people who are saying that this kind of lends towards not new content but current content, and then there's some people who are looking at it like, nah, this whole statement here basically means that they're going to continue to put those games on PlayStation. I think, and I'll go back to what I said before about this when it came to ZeniMax. Whatever they choose to do is a W,
right?
Because if they decide to keep those games on PlayStation, but they're launch games in Game Pass day one, that's a W. Because they're going to be people who be like, man, I could spend $70 on that game right now, or I could just be in Game Pass and have it. And it's there, and then I can have Ultimate and the expansions and all the other stuff that Activision has been nickeling and diming us on for years. I can just have that stuff. So, it's interesting how this turns out to be and what ends up happening. But this is going to have to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of questions going forward. And it's going to be very similar questions that we had with ZeniMax, but I think anyone who's definitively like, oh, it's this or it's that, like I don't think I don't think
we don't know
that at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, I said earlier, I don't think they're going to take COD away because I think there's could be a lot of negative backlash that I don't think Microsoft wants, and then maybe it raises the question: are they being monopolistic of the gaming industry? And that's probably something Microsoft doesn't want to revisit like they did in the 90s during the .com era. But you never know. I mean, they could be like, you know what, guys, you want to play COD? Come to Xbox. They could very well do that. I'm going to grab the super chat real quick from JD Gamer, the $10 super chat. Thank you, JD. It says, let's just be honest. It's over for Sony. You should never poke a bear and hang around long enough to get your reward. PlayStation can buy Square Enix all they want. They've been reduced to a niche Japanese company. I disagree with that super chat. Yeah,
I just think he's being messy right now.
Yeah, JD Gamer's being messy.
He don't even believe that himself.
Yeah, no, shout out to JD. But look, like they even said it in their press release. This move doesn't even put them ahead of Sony on annual revenue.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. In terms of game publishers, it does not. They're number 3 now.
Tencent and Sony are 1 and 2 now ahead of Microsoft. Microsoft is like number 6. So now they're number 3 with this move. But like even now with this at the end of the year, more than likely Sony would have it wouldn't be as like basically doubling what the revenue that Xbox would generate or Microsoft
I think it also just ties to consoles too, though. I think that the reason Sony is so much higher is because of the disparity in systems. More people buying software on the hardware that they have. So I think by the end of this year, probably not by the end of this year, because this isn't going to be probably it's probably going to be close, but it probably won't be final by the end. Mm-hmm. I think by the end of next year, you can probably see a huge shift depending on what Microsoft decides to do with the Call of Duty property. I was saying, I think Call of Duty itself probably could end up being exclusive, but they leave Warzone as the game that's available everywhere because of the nature of its cross,
it's
not cross, but
game.
It's free to play.
Yeah,
you can. Yeah, it's online, and that's something that Microsoft can pull any community for. Whereas Call of Duty can literally be on Game Pass and be exclusive to the Xbox platform. So anybody that, especially nowadays, people keep saying that it's not about, arena games or anything like that. It's about, BRs. And I think people will probably have more of a problem, if they took Warzone away and didn't have that available on PlayStation, whereas the regular COD, some people will be upset. But I think for the most part, if they make that exclusive, they would look at it in that direction. But I truly think this helps them more on the PC side than the console side. I think in the end, I think just being able to have battle.net as a infrastructure and probably a launcher will be more beneficial to them than anything that could happen on console right now, because right now PC is where they struggle at the most.
Yes, they struggle on PC with the Xbox app just working consistently. They struggle with those games, and when it comes to performance on PC, their games not using x86 but going x64, UWP. Those games have far more issues overall than games that PC gamers will enjoy through Steam. So much so that a PC gamer will rather purchase Halo Infinite's campaign than actually have it through Game Pass through the Xbox app. They'd rather purchase Forza Horizon 5 on Steam than play it through Game Pass. And I've been through that myself. I bought the Master Chief Collection on Steam because I kept having to uninstall and reinstall the game on the Xbox app. And so it was just like, hopefully Activision with BattleNet and what they and BattleNet works amazing on PC can actually help them build up the Xbox app in a way that will allow it to be PC gamers to give it a shot and not just immediately dismiss it. I think something I don't know if you guys spoke about this before I got on, but something I think that one of the first things that popped in my head when this came up is something that Phil Spencer said around the time that Activision Blizzard was really getting hammered for the sexual assault accusations and the basically just the labor practice claims that were being hit against them by the state of California. When the first company to denounce what was happening there was Sony. Jim Ryan came out with a statement, internally to his people that was like, this stuff's unacceptable, yada yada yada. Right. Nintendo came out with a statement. Bowser said this is unacceptable, yada yada yada. Phil Spencer had the strongest statement.
Sure did.
Because he used the words, quote, we are reevaluating our relationship.
Yep.
And I remember, and Forza, you would probably recall this. We were on DPS podcast. That's Damage Per Second podcast, 9 p.m. Thursday.
It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit this Thursday.
So we were on DPS, and I was like, the heck does that mean? You were reevaluating your conversation. What you going like not
you
put Activision games? You gonna take Call of Duty, the game that sells the most on your platform, off your platform? Like, what is there to reevaluate? Are you gonna say, hey, we don't like what you're doing, but keep making games for us, right? Like what do you mean by that? And I guess this is what he meant. We're gonna reevaluate our like we can't not do business with you. We need you in order to make this work, but we don't want to work with you when you refuse to actually fix the stuff that's going on in your house. Right. So, okay, we'll buy you and we'll fix it for you. Now, I actually heard, like, I was listening to, shout out to Neo GameSpark. He was doing the space, and he said that he saw something, and I'm searching for it on Twitter, but I haven't found it. But he saw something that said that Bobby Kotick will continue in his role as CEO of Activision.
Yeah, that's what I was reading too.
So, okay, could you send that to me? Because I find that to be problematic, to say just to say the least. I find that to be extremely problematic that Kotick will continue to be the CEO, despite everything that he's done. A lot of those, not a lot, but a few of those allegations are against him as well. So I mean, what? Like, are you just basically not going to do anything about that? Or maybe he's just a placeholder. Maybe he's still remaining the CEO in this transition, because like the ZeniMax deal, they announced it in like they announced it in 2020, like in October or something. No, it
Yeah.
was September. No, wait. It was they announced it the day before pre-orders went live. Yes, they
Mhm.
announced it the day before pre-orders went live for the Xbox Series consoles. And then it didn't finalize until
To
like
March.
January or to March. So that took some time. This will probably finalize before this year is up. I'm kind of thinking Kotick does not survive that. I think that Kotick will stay on until this deal is finalized
Through the
because
transition.
the transition. Because if he gets fired, that's going to drastically change like a lot of things internally as far as financially, because he's going to get a golden parachute because he probably has something.
Well,
Yeah,
they
definitely.
usually don't change any of the financial stuff for a company when it's being so like assets.
Yes.
They want to, because Microsoft wants to go in, they would have their lawyers go in, reevaluate everything to make sure everything's the way it needs to be. And then once the acquisition goes through, that's when they start. That's why you don't ever see companies like cutting departments or firing people until after the acquisition happens, because you want to make sure that everything's accounted for that you paid for, and then once it's yours, you can do whatever the hell you want to do with it.
I think Muhammad Kamara said something that was very. I think I agree with this completely. Is very.
But
He can't be fired by Microsoft.
I would say before you go, because I got to get up out of here. Y'all have a really good, a really good show. Enjoy the fireworks on Twitter, everyone. It's gonna be a great. Man. It's gonna be a great time. And Uncle Phil, we gonna call him Uncle Phil today because Uncle Phil went out here and basically said, "You know what? We got games for y'all, and it's a bunch of them.
Forte, Forte. First of all, thanks for coming on, man. I want to say one more thing before you leave. I think Phil Spencer may have foreshadowed this because he said Sony will have a Game Pass type service. Well, they'll have their games day and date, and that's one way they counter this.
Yeah, they have
Microsoft. They have some valuable IP. Sony puts those games day and date. That certainly raises the profile value of whatever
they might. I mean, look, I still kind of feel like this doesn't change that for them.
You have a good. I'll talk to you later.
Look, see you, man. I still don't think that changes that for them specifically. Like they feel like they make the most money by selling those games first, then putting them on PC after their retail life has pretty much been cut short on PlayStation, and then maybe they'll put it into something like PS Now. Now, who knows what Project Spartacus will actually entail? Maybe Tier 3 is getting those games like 3 months later. Who knows, right? But I think they do need to make some changes in order to counter this, because clearly Microsoft is consolidating and grabbing. Now, I did want to say what Muhammad Kamara said. He said he can't be fired by Microsoft because they're not officially Microsoft's. He's out when the deal closes, and that would make a lot of sense if you think about the fact that when everyone was asking how come they won't be definitive on what they're going to do with ZeniMax Media and their games. And Phil Spencer finally, like in like the umpteenth interview that asked him this question, finally was like, I can't really tell you what we're going to do with that because we don't actually legally own them yet. So when we legally own them is when I can really get, actually be definitive on what's going to happen going forward. So that's the reason why there was like a lot of vagueness in what those comments were up until they did the big live stream and when they came out here in our neck of the woods, was up at Rockville inside the Bethesda the Bethesda campus, and said these Bethesda games, for everything that ZeniMax does going forward, will be where Game Pass is, period. And so I think there is a chance that will be the case here, where when it's all said and done, like in September or something, and they're sitting around with a Mike Ybarra and Rod Ferguson again. I put out a tweet earlier where it had Michael Myers as a gift, and I was like, Phil Spencer's like, you can't escape me.
You can't escape me. It's funny, man. Hey, real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. So let me grab some of these super chats real quick, man. Because I just realized I had JD Gamer super chat up for a little while. JD Gamer with a $10 super chat says the loss of COD on PlayStation and their failure to create their own good multiplayer games leaves Sony screwed. It's over. Rest in peace, PlayStation 1995 to 2022. you don't pay $70 billion to put new games on your competitor's system. The last part, there's something to be said for that. I don't agree with the other part, but there's something to be said for the $70 billion and then putting games on your competitor's platform. I mean, there's certainly something to be said for that. And then we got a $5 super chat from Eagles fan 76 is Godfather line just went. I thought I was out and they're pulling me back in. Rod Ferguson. That's funny.
Right. It is hilarious.
Oh,
like they
one more super chat, Slibo. I'm sorry, man.
Go ahead.
JD gave us another super chat. The $5 super chat says, please don't forget that Mikey Barr, Rod Ferguson are over Activision Blizzard right now. I can't imagine both of them getting huge promotions. Yeah, maybe they do. That's I know that Ibarra is kind of more of a leadership role there now with everything that happened. So
yeah,
go
he's
ahead,
basically running Blizzard. He's basically running Blizzard right now. And I feel, and this is no like shade against Ybarra at all, but I think the only reason he's really running Blizzard is that he was not there for all of the shenanigans that had occurred before. That he's like literally the only guy that didn't have that it was in leadership but didn't have an accusation against him, or wasn't complicit in hiding the issues that were going on and not supporting people who were being abused. And so like there really was no other choice but to promote Ybarra because there was no accusations against him. The guy, and not saying that he would have any, but the guy literally had just got there like a year or two ago. So there was nothing really, there was no history there. But it's I think it's going to be a very interesting couple of months with this. Well, my question for you, Enrique. So there's clearly going to be a Call of Duty later this year, right? As usual, right?
Yeah.
Is the Call of Duty that comes out later this year going to be a launch game in Game Pass?
I think so.
I think so.
I do. I do think it's going to be on PlayStation as well. This deal doesn't close till end of fiscal year 2023 is my understanding. So I don't. But again, it's going to be a situation where. Hold on a sec here. Expected to close the fiscal year 2023. That's the deal overview. That's just was actually tweeted out. They paid Microsoft paid $95 per share, but yeah, I think it's going to be on PlayStation this year. But after that, man, like who knows? I mean, there's just a lot of questions. I mean, look, man, if Microsoft pulls this game, it's a punch to the gut, to the balls of Sony, and Jim Ryan's going to be there like bloody hell, You gotta imagine Jim Ryan can't be happy.
Oh no, not at all.
He's probably wondering like, what's this mean for us? Because they have been the big backer of COD with the timed exclusive deals and stuff like that for years now.
Oh, Tom Warren just actually tweeted this out. And shout out to Aaron Edwards for this tagging me. This is Tom Warren says it looks like Activision CEO Bobby Kotick is out once Microsoft finalizes the deal and after a transition period. Phil Spencer is now head of Microsoft Gaming, and so I guess Phil Spencer has a new title now, head of Microsoft Gaming, not just head of Xbox. And Activision Blizzard will report directly to him. And this is coming from The Verge. I could actually, let me go, I can share my screen again so we can take a look at this. Share. There we go.
All right, we'll pull that up here.
Okay, so the official is, we said 70 million before, but the official number is 68.7. So I mean, look, you round up, right? So
by the way, you see that Satya is talking about metaverse.
Yeah, of course, everyone's talking about metaverse now.
Yeah, so
it's the key words now.
NFTs are coming.
Look, no. After Phil already said that they don't like NFTs, but
Phil can say what he wants.
But then here's a question, right? We know that ZeniMax Media they are owned by Microsoft, but they run independently from Xbox. So even though like all their stuff only goes to Xbox platforms, it's business as usual for them. Matt Booty and Phil Spencer aren't like micromanaging that or telling them, hey, make this game, make that game. You can't make this game. I'll approve this game. No, they're still doing that themselves. Activision Blizzard will likely be exactly like that. They'll still be approving projects. They'll still be, doing all the stuff they were doing before.
Slim, I'll be right back.
Okay, sure. I do think that the difference here is that there will be a little bit more oversight, and when it comes to labor relations, guidelines, how you actually treat your employees, I think that they don't want any of that smoke. They don't like to see articles coming out that the state of California is suing you for labor violations. They don't want to deal with any kind of stuff like that. So I think the difference between ZeniMax Media and Activision Blizzard is that they will be on top of them on like, these guys got to go. This kind of culture, that's done. You're going to make games. You're going to treat everybody equally. Outside of that, you do what you do. Make your Overwatch 2s, make your Diablo 4s, make all the games that you planned on making, make more expansions for WoW, do all that other stuff, make Call of Duty every year. Just make sure we don't hear anything about a woman being sexually harassed again. Period. So I think that would be the difference between ZeniMax Media, but they'll still have their independence to make the kind of games they want. But just to go over this real quick, trying to find. Okay, we have a quote from Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella saying, "We're investing deeply in world-class content, community, and the cloud to usher in a new era of gaming that puts players and creators first and makes gaming safe, inclusive, and accessible to all." Enrique, what are you eating something?
Yeah, I'm having breakfast, man.
Okay, yeah, like I got like hair just crackling in my ears.
Yeah, I just opened up a breakfast bar. I realized I was like, I already eat breakfast.
Wow, look, there's a whole hierarchy here. This is the new Microsoft's new gaming organizational chart. With for Spencer at the head, and there's like all these other people here. I don't really specifically see anyone from Activision on here. Or ZeniMax, now that I think about it. But that's interesting. Okay.
No, I think that's because ZeniMax is kind of like their own thing, kind of in a way.
Yeah, but
they're under like a separate LLC, I think.
But they're all under Phil Spencer. That's what they said here. They're all under Phil Spencer now. They're all under Phil Spencer's title now is head CEO of Microsoft Gaming, and everything is now under him. Xbox is under him. ZeniMax Media is under him, and Activision Blizzard is under him. So maybe this is just part of the board or the leadership board here, right? They're kind of just doing that. Shout out to Alpha Will with the $5 super chat. He said, "Did Bobby Kotick have to agree in any way to this acquisition? If so, is he complicit in his own outing?" I would say probably yes. I think as a CEO, he could have chosen to do that, or he could have been against it. But the board could have been like, "Yeah, we know how you feel, but you kind of bad for business, bro." So if the board agreed to this, then that might have made things a bit different. We really won't know for certain. Regardless, this transition period. And this is the part here that I wanted to really get to here is that like there's definitely a exit strategy for him. And he's, all these CEOs get a golden parachute, regardless of how bad he, a person is. They still get like billions of dollars or even hundreds of millions of dollars to just leave. So there's going to be that too. Microsoft, but it says Microsoft doesn't detail exactly how it will approach solving these issues, and the company says Bobby Kotick will continue to serve as CEO of Activision Blizzard for now. It looks like Kotick won't remain once the deal is fully closed and after the transition period to Microsoft, though. Spencer, formerly head of gaming at Microsoft, is now CEO of Microsoft Gaming. And the company says that Activision Blizzard will report directly to Spencer. So even if he's still there, he's been neutered. Like, there's nothing that he's really doing that isn't really being being approved by Phil Spencer at that point. This is, I can't talk openly about. I'll say this. Okay, so like,
be
a
careful.
long time ago, your boy Slow Mo was an intern for a
company.
NBA team. NBA. I'll say it was an NBA. It was an NBA team. Okay.
Was it a local NBA team?
I'm not. If I say it's a local NBA team, everyone's gonna know who it
No,
is.
I know. That's why. All right, don't say it.
So, this at the time period, this was a very popular, famous person was running the organization.
Oh, you gave it away now.
Whatever. Look, okay, look, it's out there. Fine.
I know who it is.
Okay, so
When you said
so everyone on the outside assumed that like because the person that was basically running the team before this famous person took over, because that person still had their job, that they actually were still just doing everything business as usual. But being on the inside as the intern, I saw that every time this guy wanted to do a trade, every time this guy wanted to acquire a free agent, he had to go to the other guy and call him and say, yeah, I want to make this deal. And he had to get the thumbs up to do that. So I can see that being similar to this, where it's like he's there, but he's not really making the kind of decisions that he used to make when they were fully independent Activision Blizzard publisher doing their own thing kind of stuff. You see what I mean, Enrique?
Mm-hmm.
Phil Spencer says, as a company, Microsoft is committed to our journey for inclusion in every aspect of gaming among both employees and players. I think that's very important considering the stuff that's been going on there. We deeply value individual studio cultures. We also believe that creative success and autonomy go hand in hand with treating every person with dignity and respect. This entire statement is about the stuff that's been going down with them internally. We hold all teams and all leaders to this commitment. We're looking forward to extending our culture of proactive inclusion to the great teams across Activision Blizzard. So look, he is outwardly addressing the issues that have happened under Bobby Kotick's regime at Activision Blizzard, with women feeling uncomfortable, women actually being sexually assaulted, all kinds of stuff going on there. The stuff that's happened in Blizzard, the Bill Cosby room, all that stuff is being addressed in this statement from Spencer, which kind of goes back, Enrique, to what I was saying about how his statement was in response to Activision Blizzard's the controversy was, we are reevaluating our relationship with them. And this seems to be this seems to be how this is going to turn out. So it says Microsoft now expects the Activision Blizzard deal to close in fiscal year 2023. So it looks like this won't be officially done, and Bobby Kotick will continue on for at least into 2023. And this deal means it won't see this deal approved for up to 18 months. And that makes a total sense because Activision Blizzard is so much bigger than ZeniMax Media was.
Yep.
And this deal is a magnitude times a bigger acquisition. Like, that was 7.5 billion. This is 68.7 billion. Like, this is a whole different realm of acquisition. There's probably going to be some antitrust talk coming in here. People are going to be wondering, like, all right, look, y'all might be going a little too far with this. Like,
well, like I said, I think that's reason for them not to pull from PlayStation. But I got to be honest, with you, Slim, I think if they pull this game from PlayStation COD, it doesn't surprise me, man. And that's a big blow to Sony.
It's a massive blow to Sony. It's kicking them in the balls, man.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean the end of Sony, but it means
not at all.
It means for that casual base that plays, they're gonna leave, and I don't know what that number looks like. You know, how many people buy PlayStations for COD?
A lot.
I don't know how significant. Maybe it's I mean, it's
a lot of casual gamers. Yeah,
they're gone.
There are far more gamers out there that buy a console, and they may buy 2 games a year, but one of those games is Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
And they only own it for Call of Duty, NBA 2K, maybe Madden.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of gamers who are just like that. And they are more than the people, you and I, and the people in this chat that are like, man, February stacked with games. Those gamers are like, oh, what? There's another Call of Duty coming out in February? Oh, there isn't? What the hell do I care for?
Yeah.
Like, they don't care about that stuff. But you know what they will do? Oh, what's happening in 2023? Wait a minute, hold on. The next Call of Duty not coming out on PlayStation? It's only on Xbox?
Yeah.
Oh, but I guess I gotta go buy me a Series X.
Yeah.
I guess I gotta go buy me a Series X. And because they're not gonna stop playing Call of Duty. Now, I do agree with Forte when it comes to like the way that one sentence in the Xbox.com statement went, where it talked about support. You could look at this as all new games going forward are only in the Xbox ecosystem, but not Warzone, because Warzone is an ongoing game. It's an ongoing battle royale game that came out on PlayStation. They're not going to snatch that off of PlayStation, like similar to what they did with ZeniMax. Any like Elder Scrolls Online, all that stuff, it stays. Any new updates we do, you're still going to get that because we're not going to take that away from you. But new stuff, you know where to get new stuff. It's going to be over here. It can be looked at in multiple different ways, but I think whatever they choose to do with it, they're going to be making a ton of money off of this.
Yeah, and Sony losing COD, if they do, is just. I keep thinking about it, man. Like you said, like a lot of people could be leaving. Sony doesn't have an answer for that. They don't have an answer for whether Battlefield. Battlefield's not nearly on the same level as COD in terms of popularity.
But buying EA.
You know, I mean, buying EA, you lock up Madden. I mean, but they're not going to buy EA.
Well,
I mean, unless we said that about Activision, so
yeah,
who knows?
Like Sony would have to actually actively hurt them, like not hurt them. Like Microsoft can like make these kind of acquisitions, and it doesn't hurt. Like it's almost kind of like some.
Remember,
people,
Sony's got $18 billion in cash right now to invest in gaming. Like that's been reported. So.
But is that
enough to buy? You know,
yeah. Is that software, or is that earmarked for third party like timed acquisitions, or because like if you decide to acquire a publisher, I think they'll be far more likely to go with a Square Enix than like a EA.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Slow-mo, because there's complexities of these deals that need to be approved by the SEC and U.S. government, right? Mm-hmm. And so Game Logic brings up an interesting point. It's like this also doesn't mean parts of Activision Blizzard will not get dissolved and sold off in order to get approvals for the deal.
That's very true as well. Yeah. To avoid any kind of hang-ups with governments in regards to this, and also maybe to avoid what Game Logic is talking about, they may decide to have this deal not ratified, but done through a different country that may make the process easier. Because if I recall correctly, ZeniMax Media was, I think when it officially got done, it wasn't like I have to look it up. There was something about a European country or something, or the EU, whatever it was, that they found a way to make it done easier and quicker, not just going through the United States. So it's like I'm not an expert on this kind of stuff, but I can see them kind of trying to navigate their way to the quickest way to get this done. But regardless, it's going to take longer than the Bethesda deal, simply because of how much bigger Activision is, how much more they make, and yeah, like trying to their best to avoid antitrust issues that might dissolve this whole thing. But
yeah, that's yeah. Well, look, Slow-mo, it is 10:13, and I gotta get back to work. So, but yeah, dude, a lot of unanswered questions. We don't know if, I think the biggest one is obviously is COD, Overwatch, Diablo, are those games going to be exclusive to Xbox? And that's the big question.
Yeah.
And then if they are, I mean, that I think obviously that hurts Sony big time. So, but yeah, we have a lot to unpack here, and there's questions still to be answered, and this thing's going to be interesting, man, as the day goes on. And I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I just wasn't expecting any of this, man.
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, I look, when I first saw it, I saw the tweet and I was like, whatever. Like, I was like, which Joe Blow software gaming website said this harebrained idea, right? And then I saw Wall Street Journal and I was like, what? Well, because Wall Street Journal would definitely not.
No, they wouldn't do that.
Tweet
No.
out something like this if it wasn't like real. Like, and I was just like, I looked at the person that I saw that tweeted it and they worked for Wall Street Journal, and I was like, oh wow, that's real. And then next thing you know, we are looking at Xbox blog post, announcing it. So interesting times, man. This year's definitely already off to a crazy start. So I can't wait to see how it all shakes out.
Yeah, I know it's funny, Slomo. We said that, hey, if they want to really push, and everybody said this in the Brap DM this morning. It's like, hey, we've been saying this on Brap. Like, if they really want to get more people in Game Pass, get those casuals, they're going to need something like a Call of Duty, a Madden, NBA 2K. And here they are. They have COD now. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, man, how this thing plays out. So, but Slomo, man, thanks for jumping on, man. I know you said you were busy early this morning, man. So appreciate you coming on. Big shout out to Gaming Forte also joined us. And please check out Slomo and Forte on DPS Podcast this Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I know you guys are gonna be talking about this, so I'm sure we're gonna learn more about this deal as the week goes on. So
exactly.
But definitely tune in those gentlemen. And big shout out to everyone in the live chat that hung out with us this morning. This was so impromptu. I wasn't even planning on doing this. But thank you all for joining us. And please hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. We'll be back live this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to have Gamer MD on with us, and we'll probably be talking more about this Microsoft acquisition of Activision. So on that note, we are out. Everyone, enjoy the rest of the day. Please don't console war.
It's too late for that.
I know. I saw this. Sony's dead. Sony's done. I saw that stuff. So
dead. Sony. Ha ha ha. Like, yeah.
I even saw that. Oh, COD doesn't matter. I'm like, really? COD doesn't matter? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Say that to the 15 on average, like 15 million people. That's probably being conservative that buy that every year.
So, but yeah, we'll be back Wednesday. Discuss this more 9 p.m. Eastern time. Please check us out then. It's myself, Slomo Backslap, Gaming Forte, E Jackson, B Money 101, and then our special guest, Gamer MD. So, everyone, have a great rest of the day. We're out. Peace.
Peace.